Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and we're back working on the 34 Ford, which is finally on the lift that you guys could stop yelling at me. I had to rearrange the shop and get everything kind of in order and going in the right direction before I put the car on the lift. I knew the car was going to be stuck on the lift for probably a couple weeks while we do the last little bit of work before we actually put it on the road. So the last few things that need to be done is, and we need to go over the whole entire braking system, and I'm going to go ahead and replace the master cylinder, all the wheel cylinders, probably all the brake lines, if not some of them, but more than likely all of them. And of course, go through and bleed everything, check the drums, check the shoes, all that stuff. So that's the big part of it. I thought I had a lot of those parts just sitting in my stock or inventory, but it turns out I was a couple of wheel cylinders short, so I had to put an order in to get a couple of wheel cylinders. I had the master cylinder, and like I said, I had a couple of the wheel cylinders, but so I can't go ahead and do the brakes fully yet. We also need to do tires on the car, and I'm a cheap ass, so to speak, and I hate spending money on tires because it's just so painful for these old bias ply tires. So I need to put an order in for those. So I was trying to think, what can I do in the meantime to keep moving forward with the car? You guys saw that we did the carpet already. The next thing I thought of was the exhaust. So it has like a scavenger pipes on the back of the car, which Barry put on in the 60s when they did the engine swap. But the mufflers they put on there have rotted out. You guys may remember when we started the car, we had like mice carcasses and acorns and stuff flying out of the engine or out of the tailpipe. So obviously those mufflers got rotted out just from, mouse doo-doo living in there and all that stuff. They are rotted out, sound like crap. I actually think that they're like a little clogged too from the sound of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the exhaust in this video. We're going to start out by straight piping the car. Because it's a stock engine and the pipes go all the way to the back of the car, has cast iron exhaust manifolds. I actually don't think it'll be that bad. This thing was super quiet when it was just sitting here idling. So I think by just straight piping it, it really won't be that bad. But the way I figure is we can put the straight pipes in, and if they're too loud or it's annoying, I can easily get some little glass packs to put in there. It's just a simple straight pipe. So I went over to my friends at J&H Auto. They have a pipe bender and flare, or a tool for flaring the exhaust tubing. So I took some measurements, went over there. They flared them all up for me so I can basically slip fit them on. So I'm going to work on getting all the bolts loose on the exhaust clamps, get everything out, put it back in, and hopefully we can hear what this thing sounds like without those crappy, clogged, broken, mouse-infested mufflers. So let's get started. All right, so let's take you under the car. I got this crazy Eastwood Mega modular LED light that I use under the lift. It actually lights up like the whole bottom of the car, as you can see. It's just a little difficult when you aim the camera at it. It blows everything out. So here's what we're working with. You can see we got both of the exhaust pipes running underneath of the rear. And what happened is when this car obviously wasn't like lifted with a lift, wasn't picked up with a lift, and when the rear drooped down, it basically broke this hanger because they had it almost tight up against the rear, where they had it tight up against it, and when it sagged, it just broke the old rubber mount. So obviously that's a problem. We want to leave a little more clearance, and without redoing the whole exhaust, I think I'm going to have to just deal with that. Car doesn't sit super low, so I think it'll be okay. This was kind of the common thing for my research back in the day. To get straight duals on a car like this, you just run the exhaust underneath the whole entire car, and right under the axle. So you can see this muffler has a hole in it there where we had some stuff falling out. This is the one that I think might even be a little clogged. But both of them do not sound good and are definitely junky. So they just have, I'm blocking the light there, but they basically just have clamps on it right there. And then they have a clamp here and then a straight pipe that goes into that scavenger pipe. So what I'm going to do is try and take the clamps off. I'm going to replace the hangers with a similar style. We're going to take this muffler out, and I already had these pieces made up. I measured, it was about 28 inches total. So I had them flared on both sides to just fit over top of that. So it should work pretty good. I just got to get this old stuff off. You never know how hard it is to get it off. I've already shot some Croyle on all the bolts, but we'll see. If I have to, I can always cut it a little bit and extract it. Luckily I have a lift, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so I got a ratchet strap in the back to hold it up. And a bungee here just to get it hung. That way it doesn't fall on my head when we take everything apart. All right. So I think we're going to cut on the muffler here, so then we can pull that side down. And if we have to, we could always cut a little bit of the pipe there. But I'm going to have to do some cutting just to extract it. Doubt this is gonna twist. Now the whole thing will twist. Just get the muffler out of there. Ooh. Try and peel this off. Alright, here's that. Alright, just gotta cut this little piece out of the center. Should be able to pry it out of there. Alright, I got a chisel in there and tried to pry it a little bit, and I think I got it loose. It started sliding in, but no, that's not how it'll come out probably. There we go. Jeez. I think fought us. Perfect. go. Alright, I got this side off. I gotta extract the little piece of pipe that's in there from the muffler, but you could see how much rust was in those mufflers that was still floating around in there. So we would have been shooting that rust out of there forever. Craziness. So I just gotta blow some of that crap out of there first, but then we're gonna extract this little piece of pipe here, and we could slip our straight pipe muffler delete, if you want to call it that, on top of there, and clamp everything up and hear what it sounds like. Let's see what comes out of this exhaust. Phew. Got a little sliver out. Alright, let's see if we can wiggle this pipe on here. Let's see it. Alright, so after that first attempt, turns out the fuel pump, the needle valve, inlet valve was sticking, and the thing was overflowing with fuel, the fuel all over the intake manifold, and yes, that was fun. So add another thing to the checklist that we need to do. I already knew I had to rebuild the car, but we definitely have to do it now. Did the old tap with the plastic end of a screwdriver like I'm used to doing on Strombergs and stuff like that. Knocked it loose and it seems fine, but definitely have to fix that. But I just checked it, made sure it's not leaking anymore. Now we can start it up. I'll pick you guys up. So it's pretty loud when you get on it, obviously, but sitting at idle, it's actually pretty quiet. Sounds like a hot rod. Alright, so got the exhaust all fitted up and got everything connected. It looks good and it also sounds good now, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure, like I mentioned earlier in the video, that those mufflers were partially clogged, and we know we're still full of tons of rust and tons of acorns and mouse nests. So it was great to get rid of that. It also added a little bit of sound to the exhaust. For right now, it sounds decent. It's a little loud, it's louder when you obviously rev it up and get on it, but when it's sitting there at idle, it really isn't that loud. It's no louder than my Pagoda City Coupe or some other cars at idle. So we'll have to see when driving it down the road if it gets annoying or it's like extremely loud driving down the highway. well then I could always change it back and take out those straight pipes and put some little glass packs in there. But for now, I'm going to give it a try. Since the exhaust is full length and goes all the way out the back of the car, I really don't think it'll be that bad. It won't be anything that's like totally obnoxious, but you never know. This was a cheap, simple fix that I did that actually cost me 10 bucks. I went down to my local exhaust shop, had them flare up some pieces and cut them for me, and in an evening I was able to put it together. And as I always say, small victories. This was a small victory and kept me moving on the car while I'm waiting for some parts. So that's all I have for this one. I appreciate you guys following along. Let me know what you think of the new sound of the 34 exhaust. Is it too much for this car? Or do you think it should be quieter? Or do you think it's just right for a neat old hot rod? Thanks, guys. Catch you later.